Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French. A couple of quick headlines to bring you this afternoon before we turn things over to your latest weather forecast. We're going to start with a jury has reached a verdict in an Evansville murder trial that we've been following. Court records show that Jared Botzel was found guilty of voluntary manslaughter. The jury took about an hour and a half to reach their decision on the third day of his trial. Botzel was accused of shooting and killing DeMonzio Armstead at an apartment back in November. Court records show Botzel claimed the shooting was self-defense. Now his sentencing is set for next month, so we'll keep you updated there. Another cool story that we are following out of Evansville today is at the Evansville Regional Airport. They're rolling out some new technology, hoping to make travel easier for passengers. So they held a press conference today demonstrating how this new app is going to work. Airport leaders say that Good Maps is an accessible navigation app that can give real-time directions throughout the airport. Officials hosted that press conference today showing you how this is going to work specifically inside EVV. Now, it'll point you to the terminals, baggage claim, the nearest restroom, even the place to buy a snack nearby. Officials say this tool can be especially helpful for people who are visually impaired. Officials encourage travelers to download the Good Maps app before they arrive for their flight. It is free to do so on both Apple and Android devices. Here's another positive story that we're following out of Indiana. Some familiar faces are making big steps in their career at Indiana State Police. Take a look. DuBois County natives Nicholas Goller and Elijah Mundy have completed training at the ISP Recruit Academy. Officials say the pair completed over 1,200 hours of structured training in law enforcement techniques and hands-on scenario-based training. ISP officials say the troopers now begin a 3-month field training period, working alongside some veteran troopers. Trooper Goller is a 2015 graduate of Northeast DuBois High School. He's a former member of the Jasper Police Department. Now, Trooper Mundy is a 2010 graduate of Jasper High School. He's a Marine Corps veteran and also a former Jasper police officer. Big congratulations to both of them. And nice to see some familiar faces around here in law enforcement. All right, that will do it for your latest news headlines. Of course, we've got a lot more that we are working on today. We'll have that for you tonight on 14 News at 4, 5, 6, and then later at 10. But do not go anywhere. Right after the break, meteorologist Michael Fecca will have the latest on the weather. Things are looking pretty nice out there. We're finally getting a taste of spring before the official first day of spring tomorrow. So stick around.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Good afternoon, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the weather portion of our news and weather stream. We're going to start off here with a look at our weather headlines, and we got some pretty nice weather headed our way here. No real complaints for the next several days. We started off a little bit cooler with a few stray clouds earlier this morning, but we remained mostly sunny all day today and mild as well. Temperatures have climbed up into the upper 60s to lower 70s across the tri-state, and it only gets warmer from here headed into the end of the work week and into the weekend. We'll continue to top out in the 70s here Friday and Saturday, and then potentially record-breaking heat by the time we get into Sunday, reaching the mid-80s. But that's all out ahead of another cold front that'll slide in here Sunday evening into Monday morning. And at this point in time, it doesn't have a lot of moisture with it, so we may see an isolated shower or storm, but we're really just looking at those temperatures cooling back down to around average for the start of next week. So I'll walk you through all those details here. We'll start it off with a look at our national radar. We've got a couple areas of low pressure well off to our north. Really, this area of high pressure to our west and to our south, kind of dominating our weather pattern here through the next couple of days, keeping us dry, sunny, and with warmer temperatures. And zooming in here across the tri-state, we missed out on some of that cloud cover earlier this morning. A lot of that stayed off to our west, and they're even seeing maybe even a few sprinkles there in areas like Carbondale and southern Illinois. But it is fairly dry here across much of the Ohio River Valley. And there's a look outside at Owensboro, a gorgeous afternoon. Hopefully you're able to get outside, take advantage of it, go for a walk, maybe sit out on the porch, eat some lunch outside. Temperatures right now sitting mostly in the upper 60s to low 70s. The warm spot on the map, 74 in Madisonville. The cool spot, 69 there in Huntingburg. And we're sitting at around 71 degrees here in the Evansville area. And looking at the next 12 hours, temperatures will drop out of the lower 70s and down into the lower 50s overnight tonight with mostly clear skies. And then looking ahead to tomorrow, first day of spring. That vernal equinox is actually at 9:46 tomorrow morning, and we'll have temperatures to match, getting back up into the mid to even upper 70s in many locations with partly cloudy skies. A bit breezy though. We'll have winds out of the southwest between 8 to 16 miles per hour. But just doing a quick little overview, a reason for the season here, and it all has to do with where the sunlight is overhead at various points on the earth. So the earth is tilted at around 23.5 degrees, but as it reaches the vernal equinox or the springtime, the equator is where we're seeing the most direct sunlight. So that means we see equal amounts of day and equal amounts of night, no matter where you are, either at the North Pole, in the mid-latitudes, at the equator, and down into the South Pole. We'll all have 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night. And then from this point on, we'll start to see days getting longer and brighter here in the northern hemisphere as we turn towards summer, which is going to start on June 21st. But here's a look at that weekend forecast. Dry with plenty of sunshine there for our Saturday, mostly sunny, 77, gorgeous. Hopefully you're making some weekend plans because this is going to be a great one to get outside, go for camping, maybe even head out to a lake. I know the lake water is probably a bit on the colder side, but at least doing something outdoors to enjoy this weather. Even for Sunday, it's going to be gorgeous, topping out in the mid 80s, potentially record breaking. Our record high, I believe, is around 80, set back in 1988. So we'll be several degrees above that, and winds will be breezy from the south. But it is all ahead of a cold front that will be moving in for Sunday evening. And at this point in time, it doesn't have a whole lot of moisture associated with it, but it will kick off that chance for an isolated shower or a storm Sunday night into very, very early Monday morning, but we're not expecting anything major to blow through here. I think the bigger change with that front is going to be that change in wind direction coming from the north, and that's going to cool our temperatures back down to right around average for this time of year. So it's not going to be like what happened last weekend where we had a round of severe storms and then bitter cold temperatures. We dropped from the 70s down into the upper 20s, and then it snowed on Monday. We're not looking at anything like that. It'll be fairly dry and just average for the start of the work week before we start to warm back up as high pressure slides off to our east. So there's a look at your temperature trend through the next several days. You'll notice that big drop in our temperature Sunday night into Monday. Our average highs are typically in the mid to upper 50s, so we'll be right on par with that for Monday and into Tuesday, and then we'll start to climb back up into the upper 60s to 70s by the middle and end of next week. And even beyond the next 7 days, we're expected to continue this warming trend. The Climate Prediction Center highlights much of the country in above average temperatures, and in terms of precipitation, we'll either fare right around normal or even slightly below across portions of the tri-state. So maybe a little bit more of a tranquil weather pattern headed our way. But looking at the hazard outlook here through the next 8 to 14 days, it looks like we could get some breezier conditions out there, likely along that front either Sunday, and then again as we get into next week, we'll have a couple more frontal boundaries that'll try and pass through here with plenty of wind to go around. But until then, it's going to be a gorgeous 7-day forecast. Not many complaints here other than that big drop in the temperatures. It'll be a bit cool there Monday night into Tuesday morning. We'll only drop down into the 30s, but again, we'll warm right back up through the middle and end of next week, topping back out above average by Wednesday and into Thursday. So hopefully you take advantage of it, especially this weekend. Get outside, do something fun outdoors, go for a walk, get a tan, do whatever you want, because it is going to be fantastic just in time time for the first day of spring. But that is all I've got here for the forecast, so I'm going to hop off the live stream and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 4, 5, and 6 for all the latest news and weather headlines. And of course, I'll be back here again 9 o'clock tonight for our weather stream, and then I'll be on air at 10 once again for the latest forecast and more news headlines. So until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your day.